everybody for coming. Today we're going to talk about Signal Cartel and our journey over the last couple of years. Who knew that a non-aggressive, neutral, peaceful exploration corp could have such success in New Eden? It seems a little crazy, but we're still going strong, and we hope that our glimpse today under the hood will help you consider just how deep the SandBox really is. So first, some introductions. This is Johnny Splunk. He's the creator of Eve Scout and also my co-leader and co-founder of Signal Cartel. If you've watched his stream and followed him, you know he has a wacky sense of humor, which is really helpful when I'm raging out about CEO stuff. And so there's really no way that the Signal Cartel journey would be as successful and fun for me as it has been without him in the mix. So I'm proud to call him a friend in and out of game.
All right, thank you. A few of you suggested that I should probably be wearing that Speedo, but I don't think you know what you're asking for. So anyways, it's also my pleasure to introduce Mynxee. Many of you know her as CEO of Signal Cartel, notorious leader of Hellcats, CSM, chairwoman, but many within our ranks call her Space Mom. Yeah. After resting out from CSM for a couple years, she returned to the game as a wanderer looking to lay low. How's that working out for you? Yeah. She's a creative partner and a great cheerleader. And for our members, please don't get on the wrong side of her. Otherwise, I gotta send her a bunch of these adorable kid things. It works, believe me. All right, so our story starts almost 2 years ago. A week before Thera's release, my buddy, Gatekeeper, and I came up with this idea to manage all the connections in and out of Thera. And so we made the website in a weekend and made plans for launch day, and as many of you witnessed, it was an immediate success. Our scouts started making noises about being in a corporation because we didn't have a corporation at the time. And it was a good idea, but we had bigger plans for the service. And we knew what we'd probably do is get someone else to run the corp. So even though we didn't plan to do the day-to-day, we had certainly...
How's that working out for you?
Yeah. But we did have strong ideas about what the corp should look like, and neutral to all, and countercultural to like the typical stereotypes in Eve, and whoever we got had to buy into those sort of things. And so Mynxee was on the short list, but she had this checkered past, you know, like pirate and CSM during Incarnate. I mean, come on. And so, but I ran across this article by Katia Say that really shared her deep love of exploration and the game and that sort of thing, and it just changed everything I thought about her. And so, with our outline in hand, we approached her, and you know, it's just this unique corporation that I haven't been a part of or seen myself, and we expected her to laugh at her, but we're so glad she didn't.
So when they approached me about this idea, I thought, well, this will be easy. We'll probably just have 25 members.
Yeah.
How hard could it be? I mean, friendly, neutral, non-aggressive. This is Eve, you hippies. So, but I said, well, what the heck? I'll just do it. And so I jumped on board, but I had no idea how big that leap was really going to be. So we decided to launch at the end of January in 2015, and that was just a couple months after Eve Scout launched. Yeah. And an important part of that prep was endless iterations of the credo and the definition for our culture. And at times I just thought, how can this even work? But at some point I became smitten with the whole idea of the credo and the culture we were creating, and it began to dawn on me that maybe it wasn't such a crazy idea after all. Maybe it wouldn't be so casual, and maybe actually a lot of people would really like it and flock to it.
Right. So we kind of were using this word credo, and the credo is our core ideology of our group. So some of the values directly serve Eve Scout because we're neutral and our reputation is important to us. And some serve our desire just to play a specific kind of social environment. Other groups have had similar type of ideals like stay classy, or don't be a shithead. I mean, but our credo differs in that it aims to be actionable with expectations spelled out. So there's no nebulous trying to figure out what stay classy might mean or something. And we want our pilots to internalize the spirit of the credo and apply that. So we don't want them to be drones. We don't have like a list of do's and do nots, but it gets them on the right path. And how we treat others doesn't just apply to our own, we extend to every pilot. So regardless of your affiliation, playstyle, attitude, conduct, what you've done to us recently, we still treat you with like friendliness and generosity and just, good spirit. So our neutrality and like non-aggression are perhaps like your most noticeable attributes about Signal Cartel and Eve Scout. And maybe when you first heard about us, you might have thought, blasphemy, like, don't you know what this game is, right? And well, yes, I think we do. And in fact, I think we developed like a greater respect for the SandBox through our like unique experience. And so we don't disparage like the dark, harsh nature of Eve, but simply put, in an economy of kill mails and salt, we decided to opt out, basically. And sure, you can take our ship by force, but we don't have to give our dignity with it. And so our goal for our members is just to deal graciously with the challenges, and just throw at them like to show like a level of maturity that's sometimes absent. And this is really like our version of HTFU.
So by design, we keep things simple, but there's always going to be challenges with a credo like ours. And one of the big things that sucks up all our time is curating the credo, which means we answer endless questions about it, especially from our newer members until they get indoctrinated. We provide guidance and application. There's an amazing number of questions that people ask about it. Can I do this? Can I do that? And I'm just like, no. Is that nice? Isn't that stealing? So I feel
They're simple questions.
I do feel sometimes like I'm talking to my daughter when she was a teenager. But anyway, so we discuss consequences for violators a lot. I mean, it's just really a very time-consuming thing. But the fact is that most of our signalers really don't get it wrong very often. However, the rest of you kind of do. Internally, we see it as a holistic cultural ideology. Everybody else says, no PvP, are you nuts? And that's the only thing they focus on about it. But that perception's kind of wrong. If attacked, our guys can fight back. And sometimes to save their ship, they will end up killing you. Too bad, sorry, but it's okay for them. So it's not really a no PvP rule, it's a no starting a fight rule. Finishing it is fine. But the fact is that most of us fly ships that will never win a fight, so we prefer to slip away. And to be honest, some of those narrow escapes are really as exciting as any PvP shakes I've ever had as a pirate.
Yeah. All right, so reputation management is an interesting challenge for us because many of you know about us, hopefully, and maybe what we're about. You expect certain kind of conduct from our pilots, and so this just leads to like higher expectations of when our pilots are flying through space. And it's well known that we treat everyone like blues, even though we expect not the same type of treatment. And many actually do set us as blue or consider us NRDS. So it's quite great. It's fun to see new members in like their first indoctrination into this unusual status with other pilots. Just by joining, they have like this instant recognition and identity that they didn't have before. You have to imagine these are a lot of the solo explorers out there. Now they have a group. And they're given free passage through hostile areas, and they'll get killed sometimes with apologies, meaning sorry, not sorry, love you guys. Yeah. And sometimes they'll get reimbursed by their killer. And so it just makes us smile every time we hear these stories about how you all are interacting with our group, so we thank you. Yeah. All right, so while peaceful, we don't shy away from danger. Yeah. We put ourselves smack dab in the middle of like the most difficult situations every day, and we wouldn't want New Eden to be safe or everyone to be like us. Dangerous is more fun, right? All right, so for many others, killboard efficiency is a key measure of accomplishments, right? while we might not have much to brag about, yeah, we don't have much to brag about by your standards, but we take great pride in this, all right? I dare you to find another group as snuggly as us. I mean, come on, you can see this, right? Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Burning our kill board to the ground has some great benefits too. No shaming for losses, no stress about war outcomes, more ships undocking, and just like there's no internal stress about this. It's also useful because if anybody questions if we're neutral or not, we just point to that, right? So, about the only thing we do care about are kills, which prompts an inquiry, and we determine if there's a credo violation, we follow up with it. It's like Diplo type things, but everyone's blue? Yeah, that's fun. And the hilarious thing is, I think we do a better job blowing ourselves up than anybody else. So, I don't know how this works, but apparently we do a good job at that.
So, when shiny new features get added to the game, we're challenged to decide whether they represent our mission or not. And Citadels are the perfect example of that. They're great, we agree. And many of our signalers wanted us to erect a Citadel or 6. And they were willing to pay for it. But we had to ask, hey, we're explorers. Does an expensive anchored structure really fit our mission? Can we justify defending it under our credo? Always the biggest question in the universe. And are we willing to give out roles to people to anchor them? No, no, and hell no. So, so in the end, we advised our members to just pursue their Citadel dreams through an alt corp. And our own Marcus Volpine, I don't know where he is. He could raise his hand. There he is.
There you go, Mark.
He's a perfect example of this. He went off with his alt corp and anchored several explorers rest stop Citadels. And he has those set up for people like Mark 726 and other explorers like us to use. And so we get all the benefits of Citadels with none of the burden, which is excellent. So.
All right, so we're not here to fool you that we got everything figured out, right? We're still figuring out things as we go, even from we've been doing this for about 2 years, but we kind of wing it sometimes. But looking back, the one thing we weren't prepared for is kind of a funny story is war decks, right? And so we did not imagine our explorers would spend any time in the relative safety of high sec, right? And so war dorks, which are kind of our pet name for war deckers, we just call them war dorks, we're not high on our list of priorities in planning. And so the first time we were decked, there was some amusing drama and concern in Alliance chat, and we didn't have the answers for them yet. And so right away we collaborated on a wartime doctrine using our credo and common goals to guide us. That's how we kind of deal with when we don't know what's going on. And what spawned was the Hudge Fleet, and it's comprised of griffins, festival launchers, snowballs, fireworks, and the ECM mixed in for our defense. And I know wars get a bad rap from a lot of people, but you might be surprised to hear that we have genuine appreciation for them. So downvote me now, nerds. And they could give us a chance to introduce our pilots to our fleets. We get to make it like a mockery of the war mechanics, but we still show respect to war deckers. Any playstyle is valid in the SandBox for us. And our free Hudge meme was born out of that. And is Sarai Bloodstone here? Oh, she's like one of our favorite war deckers. Oh, well, she missed out. Well, too bad. And the best part is war decks discourage actually players from joining that prefer to do anything other than what we are about, which is exploration. So it actually works out really well for us. Yeah. All right, there you go.
So another thing is our members send us a lot of good ideas about fleets or projects that the corp should do, by which they mean me and Johnny. But we do enough already. So our mantra is be the content you want to see in Signal. With 600 plus members, the burden of content creation should be on them, not us. So we might advise them or fund their initiatives, but we have zero obligation to make their ideas happen. And if their ideas die because of lack of effort, a common thing in Eve, we don't care. We don't keep the plates spinning. We're not worried about it.
So leadership roles can put players on the fast track to burnout, honestly. And it's a good thing we don't have SOV. We don't have timers to defend. Did you know that we're currently neighbors with the B guys? Yeah, what a time to be alive. So, yeah, we're down in Aquarius. You can go find us. We're never there, though. So we don't run fleets unless we want to, and I'm a sucker for FC my favorite surprise party, Hugs Fleet. We take blops, put some festival launchers on them, and then we surprise like a ratter or somebody's not expecting it. What's that?
Still need Logi?
No, we don't need Logi. We bring hugs. So many times when we hop on someone, they're expecting a lost meal, but instead we just warp them to the dance floor.
Just don't do it in private.
Yeah. So again, burnout's a big concern for our leadership team, but we also don't want to see Signal Cartel fail Cascade because we're chained to admin tasks instead of flying spaceships. We like to have fun. And keeping the balance in the Eva's ride and real life, and we look out for each other.
Yeah.
And it helps that we've been working together for so long. We have like this spooky hive mind thing going on, and sometimes we even
Finish each other's sentences.
All right. And that makes it easy to trust each other because it avoids a lot of...
For stations?
Do you want to finish this?
Yeah.
All right, okay. Besides that, what we do, a lot of corp support is done by dedicated, hardworking members.
Yeah. Awesome shout out to all our guys who really help us with that stuff. So along with the challenges, there's a lot of fun surprises too. One of them is a sense of duty I feel for the credo, which I don't even know where it came from. And maybe this is where I say internet spaceships is serious business, because I am serious about that.
Yeah, and we're constantly surprised by our members. I mean, not gonna lie, I love them a lot. I mean, it's humbling to see their appreciation and active engagement in what we created, and a lot of times we get credit for it, but we're not out there flying every day. We're not following carrying the torch as they are. And so EVA's a place where you get to experiment socially with few consequences, and many people live out whatever they would like to try in the game. But we also see our members experimenting in-game and translating that out of game. And so they'll see positive results of how they might treat someone in-game, and they just bring that into the real life.
And responses from other players vary, mostly positive, but either way, whether they're positive or negative, they all contribute to our stories, and we're all about the story.
Yeah. And it's a huge surprise to us that the credo is like essentially the same as it was when we started. I mean, I have no idea how that we were so smart, I guess. And there'll be a couple of tweaks here and there, but as the obstacles kind of present themselves, we were able to deal with it.
Yeah, we just do. So we welcome new player explorers and have from the start, and we always endeavor to give them a solid start, but we're not really a new player corporation, although some people think we are. We're kind of more like a Montessori school for explorers, so people come in with their agenda, and we just help them. Yeah. We don't guide them, so to speak. I guess it should come as no surprise by now that we're very widely known. That was actually sort of a surprise to me how fast it happened, but here we are.
Yeah. And I think that we all agree there's like tons of opportunities in the sandbox, and some of it takes effort, that dreaded E word, and sometimes just being creative, and you just need to think outside the box. So what's interesting is our self-imposed constraints have actually opened up so many new opportunities, because some of the challenges that you normally run across, there's simple answers that you know. But for us, it's not. We have to come at it in a completely different approach and just get creative about it. Yeah.
So, as you can see, we've done a lot of stuff to create our own content in EVE. We don't depend on the content in the game necessarily. Our members are creative. They think up all kinds of stuff, mostly in service to the community. And if you've seen our EVE rescue caches in space, that's one of them. And why we've thrived so well, we don't really know. It's kind of a mystery, but we think that the success factors are, vision. We were very fixated on our vision, and it's very narrow, so people know if they're a good fit.
Yeah, and we just spent a lot of time preparing. And so when we started up, we were able to welcome all the new members without rushing around and worrying about all of like our hangar stocked and do we have policies, that sort of thing.
We're just really rigorous about our priorities, and we don't mind not being everything to everyone in our corp.
Yeah. And our decisions as leaders give great confidence to our members. They don't want to wake up the next day and find out that we're a completely different corp. So we stay true to what we are and what they've signed up to, and it's great.
But so much for my secret plan for taking us pirate, right?
Yeah, and we have a lot of visibility on Reddit, Twitter. I know there's tons of people on Twitch right now that are from us, and so having that sort of connection outside of the game is super important. So if you're looking for recruitment and you want to have many people join you or know about you, be out there, not just as leaders, but your own people. Encourage that. And quick shout out to people like Mike Azariah and Sugar Kyle and others that just tell people about us because they know.
The other thing is our corp is vibrant because our people are enthusiastic and they just do stuff. And they do stuff that keeps our members engaged. That's really, really important. And I spend a fortune on medals to recognize them. CCP, please cut the cost down. And we have defined our corp environment, and we do our best to deliver that as leaders, and the rest is up to our members.
Yeah. All right, so we hope that you've gotten to know us a little bit better and discovered some useful takeaways. Yeah, we learned that first step, that first bullet point. And so thank you so much for being here and listening to us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I have a couple things I'm going to throw out real quick. So, here.
Put your helmets on.
Yeah. So, there we go. All right, so if you catch one of these, I have this Lego that could be a Stero or a venture, if you want to catch it. There you go.
Nice.
Hopefully I don't hurt anybody. Oh. All right.